Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, January 19th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone who uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving and changing, and the candlestick right there you see will be moving and changing. That is because I like to do these markets when the market's still open for a small amount of time, because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes of time. So stock number one here, OTRK, very, very impressive move today, and a pretty active right now, final 30 minutes, as I already pointed out. As the last 30 minutes, you can see this thing's moving around quite a bit, pushing the highs here of this little session. So it'll be interesting to see how this ultimately closes out. But from a bigger picture standpoint, have a pretty well-defined pattern here, which is always good because when there's something's well-defined, you know that a bunch of people are watching it. So top part of this pattern, breakout area of the pattern, right up there at the $1.50 mark. You can see a couple times price got up there, couldn't quite push through. And then the bottom part of the pattern is more so this area of support, this lower trend line. So let me change that to green to represent more so the support area of things, bullish attribute. And then maybe to make this easier to see, let's just make this one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right there, and then add in a golf hole down there for you golfers, make it more visual. We have what would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible, is it valid to think that if the price can get back up to the top of this pattern and then get a breakup through there, that breakout could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. Again, not guaranteed, but certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like bull pennant patterns, if you like trading stocks down below $5, here you go. Next one, ticker symbol TCBP. And like the one we just looked at, some good solid patterns here. So you got to think a lot of people will be watching this particularly. Got to think a lot of people have drawn that downtrending trend line right there. So as I mentioned, but want to reiterate, am I saying that it's guaranteed that if the price were to come up to that trend line and break up through it, that break would guarantee upside pressure? Absolutely not. But is it valid to think that that could create some upside buying pressure, create some additional buying? Absolutely. So for you breakout players out there, keep an eye on that trend line right there. As far as areas of support are concerned, have an interesting level right there, which puts that little low right there at $5.80. So again, let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish area of the chart. And then to keep this all one color again, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the move up right there, we have our golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Difference here being on a little bit higher price of a stock, so not below $5, but it is still down below $10. So if you like this pattern, if you like this price range, again, keep an eye on it. Next one, CYAD, did this one in yesterday's top 10, and the move has continued. So very, very impressive. And from a trend building perspective, as long as the price keeps on putting in higher highs and higher lows, that is by far the name of the game. So let's get some newer levels mapped out here. First area that I'm very curious about moving forward is this trend line here, and it'll be interesting to see, does this continue to hold true as a level of resistance? You can see by using that data point, and that data point did a good job of then forecasting where that problem point was, where the price eventually got rejected back down. So if there is any sort of recovery back in the upwards direction, like I said, no guarantees, but in my mind, it, kind of a curiosity point, how the price behave at that area of resistance, as that seems to be the key trend line right now. In terms of levels of support, overall, good, solid, higher lows, as I mentioned earlier. But the nearer term level, if you do like to play more so pullbacks, interesting level down there right around the $2.07 mark. So overall, higher highs, higher lows, and that's the name of the game. Next one here, AMC, and overall the chart is fine, but I will admit that from a presentation standpoint, this is a very tricky chart to talk about because there's different perspectives that go into it. In fact, let me just get rid of this level for now. What do I mean? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're buying up around there and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then from that perspective, the chart looks really bad because yeah, today from those highs, there was a good size pullback. However, from the big picture point of view, what do you still have? Well, first off, the price hasn't even tested the purple line, hasn't even tested that trend line that we've been following for quite a while. But let's say that it actually does go down and test those areas. So in other words, the price drops even further, comes down to that area, and then starts to level out right there. Well, okay, you have a set of lows right there. Where'd the next set be? Right there. What about the next set of lows? Right there. Next set, so on and so forth. And if you envision each of these as stair steps, what do you have? Emphasis on big picture. Well, from the big picture, you'd still very clearly have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction. So that's why I say that from the overall standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. Again, I understand if you bought right there, you don't care about these stair-steps, but that's why I'm trying to differentiate between somebody that cares about more so a very minimal time frame for somebody that cares about the big picture point of view. So yes, today, nasty move with the gap and trap on AMC with the big pullback. However, today, as in one day, looking at multiple days, you can see that the price is still putting in those higher highs and higher lows. Next one, FFIE. And as I speak, and like I said at the beginning of the video, this is why I like to do these when the market's still open. You can see that the price and the candle is pushing new highs. Volume is coming in here very nicely down here. So we'll see if this is the start of something even bigger. But as far as just general context, I mean, check that out. Very, very impressive uptrend here. Higher highs and higher lows, as I've said before in the video. But let's map out some nearer-term levels. As far as the level of support that really stands out, right down here at the bottom part of this consolidation range at the 54-cent mark. Sure, for somebody that likes to play more so pullbacks, 54 cents presents an interesting level down around there. In terms of next potential battleground points and breakouts, you have that key level right there at 60 cents. And then after 60 cents, nothing until way up here around the 65-cent mark. But yeah, in the near term, it's all about 60 cents. You know, first off, can the price get up to that level? And then if it can, how far, you know, how much momentum could that break potentially create in and of itself? But yeah, no doubt about it. If you like to play penny stocks, if you like to play uptrending stocks, then certainly keep an eye on this one. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to manage risk, to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, BBBY, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past watch list videos, but if you have, well then, I mean, and I'll turn this into a quick plug. Get signed up for that free training because I put this level into play, and wouldn't you know it, look right where the price happened to get rejected at today. Boom, right there at that resistance trend line. Now, are charts perfect? No, nothing is perfect, but are they a tool that provides good value that I believe all traders should be using? Absolutely. So again, get signed up for that training. But I mean, here is just a real world example of that. Now, Clay, whatever, you just put that line in play beforehand. I understand that. But all you got to do is go back in the video archive, watch the video from yesterday, and you'll see that that trend line was sitting there. And just like that, came into play and rejected the price down. So long story short, this level here remains public enemy number one in terms of key battlegrounds and key resistance levels that will need to be broken. In terms of levels of support, initial level to keep an eye on right there at $3.70, but if 370 does not quite hold up, then the next key level of support after that, that I would consider way more important down there, right around $3.30. So overall, bigger picture, it's just some sideways choppiness back and forth with consolidation, but there is that trend line now that's getting very well formed, so you got to think that there's just going to be that many more eyeballs watching it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and like AMC, we have a it depends kind of view because yeah. If you bought today as a day trader and you bought up there on the gap up, well then yeah, today was a gap and trap, nasty, nasty move back to the downside. But keyword of today being a gap and trap, well, it's just today, as in one day. When you take a step back and look at multiple days, as we've done with past ones, you can see that even if it drops down to that green line, that would give you a low there. Then you'd have lows right here. And then you have this low down here. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, well then again, from the big picture point of view, the price is still making progress in the upwards direction. So is Tesla a bad or good looking chart? Like I said, there's a whole lot of it depends that goes into it. But moving forward, we still have these two key levels. So we still have this overarching level right up here around 136, that red line there, where the price slightly got above it on the gap up, but just like that, momentum disappeared and then down it went. And then if this pullback does continue, have an interesting level down here at right around $125 as support. But yeah, today, a gap and trap, but that doesn't mean that the entire chart is destroyed. Next one here, MARA. I'm going to go very quickly through these because the concept is exactly the same. Day trader that bought up here or right there and was wanting to buy within 10 minutes. Yes, for them, the chart looks really bad because there was a bigger pullback today. But from the grand scheme of it all, let me just get rid of that line now. Grand scheme of it all, even if the price were to drop down to there, so in other words, drop even further, well, you have that low, you have this low, you have this low, and then you have lows even further than that. But this illustrates the idea. Overall, the trend is still upwards. So I don't want to fly through it too quick, but at the same time, I know this one's a popular stock, but I'm not going to sit here and repeat myself because the same general idea still applies. Yeah, it's pulled back, but within the grand scheme of things, there's still plenty of opportunity for this to build that higher base and therefore continue with the overall uptrend. Next one, VLTA. And I mean, if you were writing a textbook and you needed an example for what to put into the uptrend chapter, I mean, look at this uptrend. Pretty crazy. However, what's really catching my eye, and which is probably what landed it on the scanner, was check out the volume from today compared to everything else. I mean, it's already been a beautiful uptrend, but the volume surge today was just that much more. So higher highs and higher lows, but an absolutely beautiful uptrend. So let's map out a couple of key areas here. Interesting level from a near-term pullback point, potentially right there at 85 cents. If you want to require a bit more of aggressiveness, then you could potentially play some sort of gap close or try to play it down around the 75-cent mark. But with the way this thing's been trending, you could just have the opportunity cost risk where you just missed out on the opportunity in the first place because it never goes down there. But as far as resistance levels are concerned, nothing fancy or complicated here. Just a question of where did the party, where did the momentum essentially stop today? And that was up there at the 91-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But really the main reason for throwing this on the watch list is it's a penny stock, which I know are popular. And I mean, when you have an uptrend like this, penny stock or not, always worth keeping an eye on. Very strong uptrending stocks. So like I said, if this is in your price range and you like uptrends, then like I said, I'd at least keep an eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So if you think that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, well, then this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point. So TQQQ is a very popular ETF out there. And same exact premise. So is this a bad or good looking chart? Well, I don't know. If you're a day trader and you bought right up there at those highs thinking it was going to break 21 and you wanted to buy and sell within 20 minutes, from that angle, the chart looks really bad for you because this was a very nasty pullback here. But from an overall standpoint, again, even if it drops further and let's say it goes down to that level right there, when you start to look at where the previous lows have been, you get the overall idea. The trend is still up. So yes, no doubt about it today. Today was indeed a gap and trap for the NASDAQ as a whole and for many stocks out there, but one day does not make or break a chart. So yes, today a gap and trap, but for a lot of these stocks, as you still saw, even with the gap and trap, there is still plenty of opportunity to ultimately chip out a higher base and can continue on with the current uptrends. So we'll see how it continues to play out. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live training. It'll be very soon, Thursday, January 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know people are enjoying, I'll continue to put the time and effort required to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.